This is Dave with Half Dozen Customs. I don't know exactly when this video is going to be put out, but Christmas was yesterday, so Merry Christmas, everybody. This will probably come out a little around New Year's, so Happy New Year's. This kind of unboxing video. I got this for Christmas. Colleen got me this for Christmas. She had put some thought behind this because recently, last month or so, we put a transmission in Colleen's Monte Carlo, and it ended up being the wrong transmission. So we ended up having to take that transmission out and put another transmission in. First transmission in went in no problems. Second transmission, we really struggled getting it in. And if you've seen that video, we actually dropped the transmission. So Colleen got me a trans jack for Christmas. I have looked at transmission jacks just for this purpose. There are several vehicles that are in the shop right now that we have or are putting transmissions in. The Jeep we've been working on, we actually bolted the transmission to the motor and put that in all in one shot. But when we took the motor out, well, I think I took it out all in one shot as well. But at one point in time, I don't know with the Jeep. But we did put a motor and trans in it. Would a trans jack have helped? Sure, I think so. Monte Carlo, we've done two. We got the mini truck in the back. I have a motor and trans for that. We're not ready to put it in yet, but we will eventually. So this will come in handy for that. So she got me this one, and I didn't even know these existed. The ones that I've been looking at look like a regular jack. And my problem with getting one of those is that it's a jack. And we used my jack, my just regular car jack, to put the transmission in the Monte Carlo, and it wouldn't go up high enough. So the research that I've done on this seems like it goes up high enough. And there's some adjustments on here that you can rock the trans back and forth, front to back, to get you lined up with everything, which is nice. I don't know that they have those on the trans jacks themselves that are an actual jack. But I was worried that those wouldn't go up high enough because, the regular jack didn't go up high enough. So, but this seems like it goes up high enough. So we're gonna unbox this. From what I've seen, we gotta put the wheels on it. Other than that, there is no, I don't think that there's a whole lot of assembly that goes with this. But we have a jack not a jack. We have a transmission sitting right here we can throw on there and do a little testing. So, yeah. So as we open this, I'll explain a little bit more about this. I did do some research on this. So, while we get this open, I'll explain the research that I found out. So, the research that I found on this, for the most part, it was all good research. It was all good reviews. Didn't seem like too many people had anything negative to say about it. There was a couple of reviews that I found that were, I would say, negative. One of which I think is a design flaw in this that is easily fixable. The other one I believe it's a bad design flaw in this, but it was caused by operator error. And I didn't see anybody else complaining about that. It was just one person. Oy. I gotta get this out. Oy. I'll tell you what, this thing is heavy. Okay, so not too much to the unboxing. Like I said, we got to put the wheels on, and it looks like we gotta assemble the strap part of it. So before we even get started in this, I'll tell you guys what the flaws are that it came across. So the way that this is designed with this V in here, when you're putting in an automatic transmission and it has a transpan on it, the transpan sits nicely on here and doesn't cause any issues. But if you're doing a stick shift transmission that doesn't have a transpan on it, it sits in this gully. And I believe that that's the reason that they put this gully in there, was it so that you can use it for both style transmissions. But what I seen people complaining about was that the transmission can roll and slide inside this gully. So me personally, I think a flat piece of steel that's maybe a little bit wider on here would help solve your issue. And then, you know, and maybe one day we'll do that. And then I was thinking maybe like some fingers that would come up that are adjustable. You can slide them in and out. That would come up and help hold your trans in place. A regular trans jack itself has a setup like that, where it's a flat piece of metal on the top, and then it's slotted on each side, and it has these fingers that come out and kind of hug the side of the transmission, and they're adjustable. So I think an upgrade, I'm not going to upgrade it right now, but I think that would be a worthy upgrade. Just a flat piece of metal, it would make this piece stronger, and you would have the adjustable fingers on there. So that was one thing that I had came across that people were complaining about. The other one, it was just one video that I seen, and the straps go on here, and the guy really ratcheted down and cranked on that strap, and it took these sides and it bent these sides out, and it ruined the jack. Inside here there are like wheel bearings inside here that when this jacks up, that bearing slides in a channel, and when he bent this out, it actually took those bearings out of the channel, and the jack was useless then. So I think with putting that plate on the top, it would make this stronger and make it harder to bend these out. But I think the guy just cranked too much on this strap. This strap isn't made to, you know, crank down as tight as you possibly can. It's just to keep the transmission from falling off of here. So I don't think that you need to go overkill on it. I think it's just, I think that was more of an operator error thing. He went a little too gung-ho on it. But yeah, so I think that's about it as far as what I've seen. So if you guys see, see how this bearing is here? Oh, you guys are just wiggling all over the place. So you see how this bearing is here and it rides in this channel? It has the same thing up in here. And when he pulled the side away, it pulled it away off of this bearing. And then it ruined, it basically ruined the jack. Now, I think you could obviously bend that back in place and it would work fine. But would kind of suck if you just bought this thing and then did that to it. So, and that's why I'm telling you guys about this, you know, what I found on it. Because if you were interested in buying this jack, well, now you know, don't go too crazy cranking that. So, and if you're purchasing this to take out a stick shift transmission, a manual transmission, you know, you may want to maybe look into the other style of trans jacks that they have, or look into, like I said, putting that steel plate on there. For a little upgrade. So it gives you a little owner's manual that goes with it. I'm sure it shows you how to assemble the wheels and strap, and show you, kind of give you a breakdown of everything. Parts list if you need to replace this. I did see somebody, I did see a video that somebody had, there's shear pins in here in case you overextend it. You can break that shear pin instead of destroying the threads in there, which is an easy fix, but it's a safety item on here. I'm pretty sure it suggests that you just use a ratchet on here and not an impact, but I don't know too many people who would be using it that way, because you'll just be under there forever. Rolls nice, good rubber wheels on it. You know, you get some of those plastic wheels and they just get stuck in every groove and crack in your cement. So it's nice to see that it has some rubber wheels on there. Okay, so pretty simple to put together. 3/4 inch for these, which it's probably a metric or smaller than 3/4, but that's what I grabbed and it worked. 1/2 inch for this bolt, 9/16 wrench for this side. Kind of odd that they have 1/2 inch on one side and 9/16 on the other, but is what it is. Just wondering where that went. So what these are for, they're on both sides, and it makes this adjustable, so that if you need to, you know, raise or lower, I would say the back of the transmission, so that you can kind of angle it into what you need. So that's nice that that's adjustable, and it's nice that they put a little wing nut on there. Wrench on the inside. Okay, so pretty simple to put it together. A few things. And then, so over here, like I said, you can put a ratchet in it. Seems like a lot of people use the impact. Maybe this thing's not strong enough. Let's see. Okay, so that's pretty much it as far as high as it goes. You know that it can't go any higher than that because we have bottomed out there. I would definitely be careful when you're using these because, like I said, in this piece going across here, there is shear pins in there that will snap before you strip the threads. So, you know, just watch what you're doing here, and you should be okay. Like I said, I'm pretty sure this is just designed to use a regular ratchet on, but who wants to sit there for 2 hours trying to raise that jack up? So, impact is what I will be using. And hopefully after we use this a little bit, something like this will work. Even that takes too long. But yeah, I dig it. Let me get this thing down on the ground and get Colleen out here to help me put this trans on here, and then we'll do a little test with the transmission on here, and then I think we'll take that transmission off of there, and I'll roll this underneath the Monte Carlo, and we'll see if it goes up high enough for it to have worked in that situation that we were in, where a regular jack just was not tall enough. So, like I said, let me grab Colleen and we will be right back. Okay, there you guys are. Now can you see me? Alright, so we got a transmission on here. I'm gonna strap her down, hopefully. So like I said, I don't think you need to crank that down all crazy. So, and I think that's like the operator error that other guy did. He just cranked on that too much and it bent that top plate. I don't think that's necessary. Ow! So let's see. Is it gonna lift it up without falling over? All right, man, that really puts that up there. You know, I said that we were gonna roll this underneath the Monte Carlo and see if this went up high enough. that is plenty high. There's no way. That does not go high enough. So that puts the top of the transmission at 41 inches. So basically 3.5 feet. That is nice. Now, it seems pretty sturdy too. I mean, I don't know if I would want to be rolling it around with it up that high. So, I gotta say, that's quite impressive. This is a full trans. It is full of transmission fluid. It has a torque converter in it. The torque converter is full. I'm quite impressed with how high it goes. Like I said, it seems pretty sturdy. Like I said, I don't know if I'd want to, lean on it, but it seems pretty sturdy. And again, if I was going to be mounting this transmission on here and rolling it over to the car, I would not be doing it with it up like this. We would make sure that it was lowered all the way to the ground when you're going to roll it around. That way you don't have to worry about it, toppling over on you. I'm sure if you were to lean on this thing, it would topple over. So, but I am quite impressed with it. I mean, this is a lot of weight. It says it's 450 pounds. This is a 350 turbo transmission that is fully loaded. So, very cool. I'm happy with that. Now, the only thing that I would have a question with is, this is considered a low profile transmission jack. One of the problems that we had when we were putting that transmission in that Monte Carlo is that on the jack stands, it's just sitting on the jack stands fully collapsed. We do not have the jack stands lifted up, and the transmission on top of a regular jack barely fit underneath there. And then when we got it underneath the car, we had to lift the transmission up to put a board underneath the jack, a 4x4, to be able to lift it up high enough to get it into the motor. So would this transmission fit on this jack underneath the car without having to lift the car up any higher than a large jack stand fully collapsed? That would be my question. Go back down and let's measure that. So we got 41 inches complete height. One thing I noticed is it does lift up one side higher faster than the other. I don't know if that's, and you could see it when it came down too, it did the same thing. One side drops faster than the other. Maybe that's just because it needs to be broke in a little bit. But I could tell you right now that it's not going to fit underneath the Monte Carlo without lifting the Monte Carlo up. 25 inches. Okay, so I went over there and I did some measurements on the Monte Carlo. So I looked, we are up 4 notches on the jack stands. Now these are the big jack stands. They're the big ones. They're not the little guys, they're the big ones. We're up 4 notches right now, and to the bottom of the rocker, it's 19 inches. So this is at 25. There's no way that this would roll underneath that car with where I have those jack stands at. So we would have to jack up the car and lift up the jack stands more than to get those rockers, you know, at 25 plus inches. You know, I would say 26 inches, you would be safe to roll this underneath the car. But then my question would be, which we are not going to be doing this today because I'm not going through all that just for an unboxing and a testing video, would be if you lifted the car up so that the rockers were at 26 inches and you could roll this thing right underneath the car, would this then go high enough for you to put this onto the back of the motor without having to lower the car back down on the jack stands? That is a good question. 1 second. Let me take a measurement real quick and let's see where the top of the transmission is sitting right now without having to go up another 6 inches. 7 inches. It would be 7 inches. We would have to go higher. Be right back. Okay, so I crawled in there and I measured from the ground to where the top of the transmission is right now, and I would say we were about 37 to 38 inches, about right in here. So if we had to go up 7 inches higher, that would put us at the 45. So that is going to be very, very close. So it is possible that you would have to put the car up on the jack stands high enough to roll this guy underneath there, and then lower the car on the jack stands a notch or two before installing the transmission. Not a deal breaker, but it's gonna be close. And that is also going underneath, you know, the rocker. So, you know, is it possible to roll this thing in from the front of the motor and it be a different measurement than from the rocker? Because you know that, you know, I would say that the rockers probably hang down lower than the motor and the motor cradle, so you might be able to gain a little bit if you go from the front and roll this thing in under the front of the vehicle. So that is possible. I definitely think that this is going to be a huge help for me around here. I like it. We'll find out when we actually go to put a transmission in a vehicle. But I think that this is going to be a huge help for us. So, with that being said, we're gonna end the video here, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully it was informational. Harbor Freight Pittsburgh transmission jack, 450 pound scissor lift. I like it. See you guys in the next one. Remember to like, subscribe, share, leave a comment. Link is down below. And Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, everybody. And we'll see you guys in the next one.
Oop.